Alright, hey guys, I am Audrey and I'm a hairstylist, most of you know that, and this is probably going to be a channel mostly of I don't know, things about me, hair stuff, makeup stuff, skin stuff, mental health stuff, and whatever else you guys want to see. A little bit of my truth juice because everyone needs a little liquid courage sometimes. So, alright, it has been at least a month now since I have self-diagnosed myself with dermatillomania, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's usually tied with OCD, which I know I have. I was diagnosed when I was 19 and I've been on medication since. I'm on 2 different medications and it's been going really well. Obviously I have my moments, ups and downs, which what dermatillomania is skin picking. And by saying skin picking, I don't mean just standing in the mirror picking at it here and there. I mean picking at my face. So during this whole quarantine mess, I was home alone, and that definitely can be really hard, isolating from people. Obviously I have social media and FaceTime and things like that, but it's just not the same at all. So I was very alone in my own thoughts. So mentally I just was not in my best state of mind. Also, the boyfriend wasn't home, so I didn't have anyone to stop me from picking my skin. Every time I walk by the mirror, it's not like I can just walk by the mirror. I stop and look at what I can fix on my face. For me, it's not like I need to look perfect. I don't feel that way at all. I'm a very confident person and I can go out looking like absolute crap and still feel at least a little bit okay, but it's more of, I don't really know why I do it necessarily. So one of my triggers is definitely acne, which I never really used to have, but now I get a lot of cystic acne and things like that. And so when I say skin picking, I'm sitting in my mirror in the sink, this close to my mirror in the bathroom till 1 a.m., 2 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m. By the time I'm done, my face is bleeding in multiple spots. So sometimes I'll use tweezers to pick at my skin. And so with cystic acne, you're not supposed to pick it. Everyone knows that. I know I'm not supposed to pick it, but in my brain I'm you can get it. I would rip it off with tweezers, the top layer of skin. I would just go in and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and then till something came out, and then I would keep going, and then blood's coming out. My face is raw and hurting. After a picking session, I look at my skin and I'm complete, satisfied. That's how I feel after. But then I also feel really upset because I'm what the hell did I just do to my skin? I was starting different gel to use on my face, which is a retinoid. It was working on my acne, but it was also making my skin super dry and flaky, and so it was definitely something to pick at, and I'd pick and pick. And I don't pick just in the mirror, I pick all the time. I'm always kind of doing this. That's why around the sides of my face is definitely the worst, and my hairline. And it's not that I'm actively thinking oh, I'm gonna try and pick my face. I'm just doing it and nobody's really noticing. My chest and back are those areas that I also pick. And those are easy because they're under clothes, and so if I start bleeding or something in the middle of the day, nobody's gonna see it. And it's not just picking zits, it's picking bumps, it's picking any spots that aren't smooth. And it's probably just the OCD brain in me that's this has to be flat. And I zone out. It's I'm blacked out on this just tunnel vision of have to pick. I will have my phone next to me and it can go off 10 times and I'm just all in on my skin. I definitely go through relapses, I guess you could say, of picking, which I'm still in the beginning healing phases. I had 5 scabs that I could count that I would constantly pick at, and I always would do this as well, and my sister pointed out, was you're right, you do that a lot. So yeah, basically it became a problem because I was picking so much and I was really hurting my face. So I have these dermaplane razors, and I know that they're not supposed to be used on people with acne. I'm done picking my face one night, and I was you know what, I'm gonna go exfoliate my face with this dermaplane razor. At first I'm being actively thinking I'm going to go around my acne spots, I'm not going to go over them, but there's just something in my brain that's you can do it. you can go around them, like you can go on top of it, you can scrape the skin off. So I did, and then I kept scraping and scraping, and then I'm like bleeding all over my face. And then my face was so raw, it just hurt because I like scraped off that top layer of skin. And another spot that looked really dry that I was like, oh, I can like pick that or get the dry skin off, was my knees. So I took the razor, and it's not like a crazy big razor, it's really, really small, it's like this big. And I just kind of like scraped the surface, because you're not like digging in, you're just scraping like this. So then I was like, oh, my ankles are really dry too, and I started doing it against my ankles, and I was just like zoned in, doing it over and over and over again to my ankles, to the point where my ankle started bleeding and I had like a 1-inch cut on my ankle, and I was like, oh, this looks bad. What the hell's wrong with me? Like, why can't I stop picking my skin? Here's where it gets interesting. I googled, why can't I stop picking my skin? Dermatillomania comes up as one of the top things, and then it was like, check, check, check. I do all of those things. And then it said, usually found in people with OCD. It was just like everything clicked and everything made sense. If I find something wrong, I need to fix it. Basically, like, cognitive behavior therapy is really helpful. So I started seeing cognitive behavior therapists. I was just searching ways that I can like stop this myself, because a few years ago when I figured out that I did have OCD, I was also like, holy crap, I need to figure out how to stop this and control myself. Basically, when I'm having an invasive thought, that's when I like click on, this is an invasive thought, this is not good, or like this is not a good behavior. So sometimes with like my OCD, this is just kind of a lame example of how it will happen now. Sometimes lately it'll just be like, turn off the light or you're gonna die. And in my head it's just like, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. Or like something of that nature of being bad. So if I don't do the thing that my brain is telling me to do, like this bad thing is gonna happen. Like me turning a light off has nothing to do with whether I live or die. And so I stop myself and I think like, this is not normal. Leave the light on, walk away. And then when I walk away and you know, it's a week later and wow, I didn't die and I left that light on, I realize more and more it's just OCD thoughts, it's not real. Anytime I'm doing it, that's the first step, is acknowledging, like recognizing that you're doing it. But I've also noticed kind of like things that are triggering for me are definitely stressful situations, things where I don't know what to say, things where I'm just like overwhelmed and I start picking. And so with everything going on right now, it's a lot, and it's like a lot to take in, and I feel selfish to have these problems, but it's not selfish, these are just problems that I have, that everyone has their own problems. So kind of like coming to terms with figuring out all my health stuff right now. That it's okay to be working on myself, and it's okay to turn off the news. It's okay to like not be divulged in social media and work on what I need to do to get me better. And I've been taking pictures, which is really helpful for me if I'm really struggling like with picking my skin. I kind of go back to those photos and I'm like, I don't want to be there again. Look how far my skin's come. It's like one of the best compliments I can get right now is like, wow, your skin's looking really good. So I've also had a lot of people like reach out to me like, oh, have you tried this skincare? Have you tried this skincare? And it's not really helpful, because I feel like I've said a lot of times on social media, if anyone follows me on social media, especially Instagram, hey, this is something I'm struggling with. When I started to realize that this was not just like a skincare problem, I still had people reaching out about different skincare things that I can do that will help. That just was not really helpful at all. It honestly makes me feel kind of worse. The problem is deeper than that. The problem is me picking. going back thinking, did I ever have these problems as a kid? I definitely did. I remember being in school and it was always the center of my head right here, and I would just dig and like tilt my head like this, and I was digging out this same black fly bite for I don't even know how long. I picked my scabs a lot, like incessantly. That's probably why I have scars everywhere. It's just never going to be perfect. So this is definitely a journey for me. I don't even know if this video is going to help anyone at all. I'm just kind of putting it out there to hold myself accountable. I found a lot of the time, actually, for healing purposes, if there's a conversation about, I don't know, say somebody comes up to me and starts kind of like dumping all this stuff on me about what they're going through, I want to be there, but sometimes I emotionally just can't take that on because I have enough of my own stuff emotionally. So I'm kind of trying to like get in touch with that and understand like when I'm at my limit before I reach that breaking point of just complete anxiousness that I go into like panic attack mode. I have surgery coming up in a month, so I'm just kind of like capped right now. Thinking about that every single day is just overwhelming me, and I'm really excited to get to a point where I'm just healthy and happy. I'm happy, but I know I can be happier, and I know I can be healthier. Let me know what you want to hear about next. If you want to kind of like if you want to hear about tips and tricks that I've found that are helping dermatillomania, let me know if you felt like this video could have been more organized. Let me know how you feel. I don't know. Finn says bye. Okay, I just watched that video back. Girl,